What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the A Show, the Kings, a pro wrestling podcast. I'm Justin, along with Meelz, days before Christmas.
Are you in the Christmas spirit?
Yeah, I'm in the
Like, do
Christmas
you
spirit.
feel Christmassy? I don't know. I don't feel Christmassy. I don't know. I'm still not
I mean,
there yet.
if I was to rate it out of 10, I'm at like a 7.
I need to
I
go
think
out and experience something Christmassy. That's what I need to do. I have not
Christmas
gone
in New
out.
York, Christmas in New York is different. like, like Christmas in New York, you guys got to get a lot. Like, you know what I mean? Like because the thing is that you get the weather with it. You know what I mean? And we don't really get that.
Yeah.
So I would imagine it'd be a little bit different there.
I think I just need to go out and see some decorations, and I think I need to see some things. I've only seen the only thing holiday themed that I have seen over the last maybe like 2 weeks have been holiday themed Starbucks cups. And that might be it. And then also the Starbucks is also dressed up and dazzled up for Christmas as well. Um, but that might be the only thing. I don't know. But I'm ready to feel Christmassy. Like, I have my new bed sheets. Bed sheets are a big Christmas tradition for me. I gotta like change it to the nicest. I go buy some nice, soft, quality sheets that I can lay on, and I change them the night before Christmas. And I wake up and I was like, oh my God, yeah. Like, I feel this is a brand new feeling for Christmas. So I don't know. That's my Christmas tradition of what I do.
Wow, you're a bed nigga.
I am. How about that? I am. You gotta have some good sheets in the background. The shit that you see behind me whenever we do videos, soft, velvety, amazing. Like, I can Madison Park got some good shit. I'll tell you
All
that.
right, you see this? Y'all see this? Y'all talk about me? Y'all talk about me and this
All right, what have
what
you
is
done for Christmas?
what is Madison Park, bruh? I ain't did nothing. I've
It's
done
just
too much for
it's a branded Bed Bath and Beyond. That's where I get my sheets. I don't get them from anywhere in particular. I don't break the wallet for sheets. I just like nice sheets.
changing your sheets is like that. Now it's Christmas. It's crazy.
Now it's Christmas. Now it's officially Christmas. Yes,
No,
absolutely.
I've done a lot, but I have a lot of stuff. Like one of our close friends is having having a baby in 2 months, and their baby shower is in a couple weeks, and I gotta get that stuff, and I'm like tripping because like let me tell you, none of that stuff's gonna get there for the shower, and I'm like really mad
Hey man,
because I'm really mad about it.
I mean the baby. If as long as it's there before the baby get there, I mean, I think you're valid.
Yeah,
I think if
no,
you can say
no,
it's coming,
you're
it's
right.
on the way.
I just feel like it's well, I'll have stuff physically there when we get there, but is that's happening like right after Christmas, so it's like I got Christmas, and then I got that, and then chill, and then wife's birthday, and then luckily like a lot of the old stuff we used to have to do like anniversary, we don't have to do that anymore because that's over with.
You're married. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
fuck that.
we're gonna do that.
Who are we trying to
So
impress?
because I used to have I was in hell for a while. It would be Christmas, anniversary, Valentine's Day, her birthday. I never got to rest. I would never
No, no,
rest.
no, no. That's the anxiety of this whole thing. Like, I hate. I feel like it was always. I would get to the point where it's like when it gets to my stuff, like my birthday, I'd be like, just don't do anything. I really don't give a fuck. Like,
Yeah.
I really don't care. I don't want to have to think about it. I don't want to have to experience it. I don't want to have to go through it. I don't want to have to plan anything. Just like I'm ready to chill. Um. All right. Before we go off on this tangent, because you're gonna go on this holiday ass tangent.
Yeah.
Um. This episode is our year end episode, part
Yep.
one, as we always do. Um. So we're going to be going over a number of categories as if you hadn't had enough year-end content from us. Go on our YouTube, youtube.com/, I think it's at the A Show RNC now, which I didn't know you could put ats in fucking web addresses until YouTube did it. But you can go watch all of our year-end content. It's doing pretty well. I'm very surprised. I'm very thankful because I worked very, very hard on all of that. And I think putting it together showed that we are ready to approach 2023 with a new direction, and I'm glad that people are supporting it. So make sure you tune into that. But this one, we're gonna give some superlatives. We're gonna give some like whatever the opposite of superlatives are.
I don't know.
uh,
I'm trying to make something up, but nah, I can't.
the evil pertives, malevolence, something along those lines. Like we're gonna be doing that. But all right, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna make sure that we do this. So I'm setting the timer for 15 minutes, maybe 17, right? 17 or 15. What do you think?
17.
Okay, so I'm gonna set it for
Meelz is okay.
17.
Meelz and I had a short little argument before the show started about who was the most talkative on the show. Because he
Right.
said, "Let's get through, let's get through the main shows and No Holds Barred in 20 minutes." And I said, hey, "Okay, Meelz, that's fine, but you'll say time limit and then be the most talkative person that breaking the time limit." I've had you say I got to be out in 3 minutes, and then you go on a whole 5 minute tangent, and
What are
I'm
you
like,
talking about? That's
"It's
not
happening."
me. I promise you, it's not me. I can
What do you mean?
promise
I
you.
get you in the
Go
door.
through,
I
go
get
through
you in
the
the door
shows. I'll say this. I'll say this. The episodes when you're not on are the episodes where like
because you.
I have this. Go ahead.
But Mills, that's the episodes I'm not on is with people, and no disrespect to the wonderful guests that we've had in my place and in your place. Those are
Sure.
people that have way less rapport than we do to talk about stuff. That's
I
not even
disagree.
fair. That's
I
not even
disagree.
fair.
I disagree. I've had Jeff
That
J
doesn't even
on,
make
and we go
sense.
by a absolute. I promise you, I plot out 20 minutes for this, 15 minutes for this. You can ask Jeff J because it's all on our sheets that I run through with him. And then like 15 minutes for this, 20 minutes for this, and guess what? We stick to that motherfucker because you know what? People got all this other stuff that they got to go through. But. See, we're rambling now. I haven't even fucking started the timer.
We're both
I think
talkative.
we're both talkative, sure, but for you, to put it all on me. I was like, yeah, I feel like we're both in our own separate ways, like exactly what we're doing right now. But it's a good
Whatever.
thing, right? I
But
guess
put 17 on the clock, and then let's run through No Holds Barred in the main shows.
17 starting right now.
Last week, of course, we can't get past another Tuesday without something crazy happening.
Well, this happened on
Mandy Rose,
Wednesday. Hey,
well, come on. The impetus of it happened on Tuesday, essentially.
okay,
Mandy
sure.
Rose lost the NXT title, which is something that we didn't really talk about either. And the next day, we learned that she was let go. Obviously, they didn't report it because they don't really ever report on NXT releases, do they? They never really report on NXT releases. They mostly do it for like the bigger stars
I don't
on
think
the main.
I actually don't think they report on any releases, considering
And
all
not
the stuff
anymore.
that we've heard over last week. Yeah, I don't think they do it officially anymore. I think it's an internal email now.
Okay, okay. Well, we learned that she was released, and the reason that she was released was because of the content on her fans only, which is like kind
Fan
of weird,
time.
or fan time, which is like why not OF? I don't know, but hey,
Probably
far
better
beyond.
payouts. Something.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. So one thing about this account is that like we kind of a lot of people it was kind of like the worst kept secret about this account that she had where she was
Sure.
basically you could get a rating, a genital rating, you could get all types of stuff. And again, the only reason we're kind of speeding through this is because everything that's been said about it has been said on like Black Announce Table. They talked about it. The War Report
War
talked about
Report,
it also. Yeah, like a lot of people have talked
Black
about it.
Raskin,
Black
everybody.
Rasmus talked about it.
They've
We're
all
late.
pulled up the menu and picked out what the hell they would get.
Yeah, all of that. They've all done it. We're not doing that today, and I don't even think we would have did it if we got this earlier. But so she was let go. My main thing here is that no one really has like the true what happened behind the scenes, right, Meal? So obviously she was told, obviously she knew that WWE had been looking at this and they knew and they were aware at the very least that this was going on. And she chose not to take it down. So the decision that they had was if we can't come to a decision on what's going to happen here, we're going to have to let you go and you're going to have to drop the title to Roxanne tonight. And that's what happened. But what you see after that, right, is, you know, workers' rights type shit, right?
It's weird. My general thoughts on all this is that there's clearly some things you can do at a major corporations and some things you can't do, and it's in the contract that you sign. So all this kind of like virtual signaling and all these like fake ethical things, because the conversation is over. No one's talking about it right now, and I'm not even sure if the people have then subscribed to it. But all this talk kind of about it to me is all for naught, because at the end of the day, like, you can't do these things if you work at certain places. Like, you really just can't. And then one of the other things that irked me is people are like, well, for years WWE sold this image of like sexual Mandy Rose, and now that when she's doing something, capitalize it, that it's like now it's this bad thing. And I'm like, bro, you, to me, that's like low key even more dangerous than what you probably think that they're thinking, because now you're saying that, oh, because she chooses to embrace her sexuality as a part of her character, that they have to abide by all these things that are like um that are not kind of by the character. Like, they are promoting this, like it makes it seem like they're the ones who pushed her to this life, or
Right.
they're the ones who have like promoted her in this kind of way. It's like, well, if she wasn't sexy on TV, I don't see why they can't take her when she's like sexy not off TV. I'm like, bro, she's a fucking character on TV.
Yeah.
Like, and also women can embrace their sexuality in any ways that they want to. Like, I was like, what? Y'all sound
There was
lame.
a lot of respectability politics that were like, getting thrown towards a corporation's way. I would love to see people attempt to do what she's doing at their own job. And here's my thing too, and I stand on this. There is a really bad stigma with sex work in general. There's a terrible stigma with sex work, and I don't think it's going to go anywhere anytime soon, regardless of what company you're in or where you work at. But at the same time, a lot of people know that if you do something like that, wherever you work, everyone knows this, that there will be consequences, and there's always repercussions to these types of things, regardless of the character you play on TV or whatever. If it's not in your contract to do that and have third party stuff, it's just not in your contract to do it. If Mandy herself felt fine enough to be let go to do that, what are you still fighting for? Why are you still fighting about this for? There's no reason to fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes no sense to fight for it.
Yeah, I'm just listen. Apparently, her manager came out today to TMZ saying, "Oh, she's wild better off. She's making like 500K off of this since she left." And I was like, "That's you have a great manager who obviously loves everything that you do and supports you in any other way possible." And I was like, "You know what? Fair. Go off."
Sure,
Um,
sure, yeah. I don't even care to look at the tax returns on that. But
yeah, yeah.
Mandy's gone. What a year for her. She had the title for over 400 days. And then to lose it just that unceremoniously again over this is just kind of like, it's kind of the story of her career, right? It's like, there's moments where you kind of wanted her to kind of succeed and you wanted to see it with her, and then it just kind of goes away. And who's to say she'll come back? We don't know, but as it stands right now, she's gone, and maybe she'll be back one day when she puts the menu up for good. Um, some news
Uh,
that came. Yep.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, some news that came out today. Uh, SBJ, the Sports Business Journal, has some predictions. One of their predictions that they put out today was like Microsoft's going to buy Netflix next, or something like that. Like, they're looking into the future, and they believe that WWE and they're going to cash out with NBC Universal. They believe that basically NBC Universal will probably secure Raw and NXT for the foreseeable future. When the rights deals come up, they'll be negotiating next year, obviously around Mania
Oh,
time.
SmackDown and that.
Well, no, I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that. So
Okay.
they predicted they're going to retain Raw and NXT. Obviously, they're going to be negotiating that around Mania time next year in LA. But they're also predicting. This is John Ostrom, who's kind of like an analyst for Sports Business Journal. He basically predicts that they're going to get SmackDown too, and they're going to put SmackDown in a prime position on one of NBC's channels, possibly a USA or something accessible like NBC itself. This will obviously affect the negotiations with their Peacock deal as well, which is crazy because I feel like that deal just got signed like yesterday. But it's looking like NBC Universal is going to be the home for WWE for the foreseeable future, potentially to be sold to WWE in the near future as well. Me and Meelz have talked about this at length about what is the next big step, and we don't know what this company looks like. I'm a little bullish on the fact on if Fox will let SmackDown go because it's been such an advantage and such a big ratings earner for them every week in a slot that they just don't use at 8 o'clock on Fridays. But if SmackDown goes to NBC, I think Meals it could get better ratings. I think it would get way better ratings. I think we could be looking at 2.5, 2.7, almost 3 million for SmackDown every week.
I like SmackDown on Fox. I don't know. I
I,
just I
I
don't like NBC is kind of it's very uh Wonder Bread to me.
I
Toast
don't know.
butter
I don't know.
plain.
Fox has alt right wing Fox News commercials during SmackDown. So what's that to you?
Spicy
No,
spicy
I don't know. I don't even know what that
spicy
means.
beef. Spicy
I
beef teriyaki.
I I don't know what that means. They're not eating that for sure. They're eating red meat burnt to a crisp. Um,
We got 8.5 minutes, but we cleared half the time.
we're not making it 17 anyway. I like I like SmackDown on Fox because I feel as though WWE actually has a good relationship with Fox. They integrate them into football, they integrate them into so many things in the Fox landscape that I think that it looks natural. You know what I mean? I don't know what could change with NBC, but if you're looking at a deal like this, Mills, like they signed them for what, 2 bill? I'd say for all of the whole package of WWE, you're looking at upwards of $4 to $5 billion just for that. And if that's the case, that's a deal that they can't say no to, especially where they're at right now without Vince McMahon. They got to be looking to the future.
No, you're absolutely right. Like I don't know. I get yeah, but I don't know. I really Fox is just it seems like the best thing SmackDown has been on since UPN or the
NBC
CW.
NBC will give them that same amount. If Fox got SmackDown for 2 bill, 1 bill, whatever, they could double that, and the production could go up. The star power could go up. They could potentially, you know, have SmackDown specials all over the place. You know what I mean? Like they could do a lot. And I'm not. It's not to say they can't do that with Fox. I do think that it's a good network for them just for ratings, but I think that it will be comparable on NBC. Like the NBC has nothing on that time slot, absolutely nothing. But like Dateline, I think if you put that on NBC, you could see Roman Reigns on SNL. You know what I mean? You could see a lot of stuff
But I
happening
feel like he
between
could
now
do
and then.
that anyway. That's what Raw and USA is for. Like ultimately, at the end of the day,
What you're missing
everything is. Go
what
ahead.
you're missing is that Roman is primarily featured on a Fox show. That's why I'm saying that Roman is primarily featured on a Fox show. There's no synergy there for them to do that. That would step on their toes. That would step on Fox's toes for them to take their star on SmackDown and put them on SNL. That's why I said Roman on SNL.
But I feel like it's such a relationship anyway because it's like a month later, all the SmackDown shows end up on Peacock anyway. Like, like
They could
all these.
change that. They could that and again that they could be arguing and to your point, you're right. NBC could say there's more synergy here. You're already on Peacock. You could have your show. We could bring your shows to our channel in less than 24 hours, the same way we do with Housewives, the same way we do with our regular slate every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays. They could shorten that time with that rights deal. And the thing is that they could also work to try and pull that off of Hulu as well and keep that primarily on Peacock, where the only place that they could go, or they could have their own kind of blowout app on Peacock that's bigger, hopefully with a better fucking search. Like there's a lot of smoke to that fire, in my opinion, if they decide to go that way. I do think that as much as Fox does seem like a really cool destination for SmackDown, NBC and Universal does make sense as well. I just wouldn't want it to be on USA. I think that that's a channel that if you look at raw ratings, I think that like I don't think people are going to that channel anymore. I think USA is kind of falling into another slump where they don't have the lead-ins right now. You know, SVU is not doing it anymore. It's just a channel that I don't even think I watch it unless Raw's on. You know what I mean? I just think that it's a dying platform. Like they need to move Raw off of
Yeah,
that shit. To be honest with you,
yeah, hell to the no. Yeah, there's no way I'm watching anything on USA Network to be honest with you.
exactly.
Except maybe Ms. and Mrs. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
I
even
don't.
that, I watch on Peacock.
Barmageddon is like an awful show. I've watched 5 minutes of it. I said this is terrible. Like this is what they've been spending a lot of marketing dollars on, and I don't know if it's necessarily worth it. But it's like I look at the ratings. It's like I don't think that like there's anything that Raw could do right now other than getting some of their stars back that would get that rating back up. Because I looked at last night's show and I was like, they're probably gonna do the same rating they did last week with this show. But it's also where this channel is. Like there's no one is watching USA that is like, okay, I've got to watch this and then lead in the Raw. They're looking at it and say, oh, SVU is on for its 8th hour today. You know what I mean? There's nothing, there's nothing like special about this network. So I think that like more than SmackDown, Raw needs not only a fresh can of paint, the stars are coming back, but they need a new home. Like I feel like Raw being on USA to me is just kind of like, it's a lot for me now. Anyway, the shows for this week: SmackDown, Ricochet versus Gunther. Is it an A-show curse?
It might be. I mean, he did really well in it. If there's any, if there's any consolation, that match was fire.
A-show curse. I mean, Bianca goes on our show. Days later, 26 seconds happens.
I'm not blaming us for that. I'm blaming the other lady.
Oh, we didn't talk about that other lady, but I also said that I don't want to talk about that other lady. But I didn't
I
know if you
can,
wanted to talk.
if you wanna plug in your ears for 90 seconds, I can kind of fire off what I think and where all
Go
this
ahead.
is going thus far.
Go ahead.
All right. So hashtag Sasha Banks watch for the week. Since I'm the only one committed to this bit at this point. Um, it was reported by Fightful Select last week that Sasha Banks, you pretty much, corroborating the story of Raj Giri earlier in the year, that Sasha Banks will probably be out of her WWE contract January 1st. Um, and the New Japan deal, once again, booked outside of her, and she's pretty much going to be doing things outside of WWE. What does that mean for the future of her? No idea. If you're asking if AEW is a destination, I could say that's likely. In my opinion, smart, no, but likely, yes. Um, and for those of you who are looking for any updates on Naomi, if I had to give my prediction, I'm assuming wherever Sasha Banks goes, Naomi's gonna go too. And solidarity, so they don't look kind of stupid. Because I feel like if one went one direction and the other look another direction, their joint um, walkout would look incredibly dumb. So 2023, we'll have to see where Sasha Banks goes and how Sasha Banks moves, or Mercedes Renata, or the hell she wants to be called at these days. But yeah, and we'll see where her and her CBD gummies take her. That's Sasha Banks' watch for the week.
Cooked. Y'all don't see it, but I see it. Y'all don't see it, but I see it. Yeah, the stock is high right now, but it's high because nothing's been said. You feel me?
I
It's high because
absolutely agree.
it's high because we don't know what's going on. When we see the end result, cooked. You know, they'll call me crazy now, but later they'll you know how it goes. You know how it goes, Mills.
We're
You know
usually
how,
right about these things, but
she's cooked.
it's interesting to see where all of this will lead to. But my thing is, long term, it'll probably lead back to WWE. If she doesn't sign an AEW deal, which to me would be, I would say, get your money, but also like that's not. Sometimes all money isn't good money, and
If
long
you if
term.
you if you could imagine how bad that CM Punk thing ended in AEW, let me just pause at something. I know we're
That's
overtime.
what I'm
I know we're
saying. No, no, no. Oh yeah,
no, I know
I
we're
took off the
overtime.
timer. I took
I
it
know
off.
I know
Yeah.
we're overtime. But if you could, but you feel where I'm about to go, right? You feel where I'm going, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
If you could imagine how bad the CM Punk thing ended, right? And one of the main things that you love about Sasha is that she's a firebrand. She goes wherever she goes. She says what she has. She says what she feels. She ruffles feathers. She don't care. All of that stuff. You already know she's like this. You already saw what happened to CM Punk. You already know what that locker room's like. You know how contentious that locker room is. You know she's not a locker room leader because no one's ever said she was. Imagine how that's going to work with your Britt Bakers and your Thunder Roses, who's going to come back soon, and your Jade Cargills. How's that going to work? And Athena's. How's possibly Mandy Roses too? How you think that's going to work in the end? A year it took CM Punk with people not telling you no, with people not saying, "Hey, you got to chill," and people putting up with your bullshit. How you think it's going to
Hey
go?
man,
It's
hey,
cooked.
it's pretty much going to go. I can't see it for all the reasons that you were saying. I can't see it going well if it does go in that direction, but I'm not putting past anything where there's two major wrestling companies and one is they're both paying out actual money. So we'll see how this goes. If I would say if AEW does sign Sasha Banks at one day, it's something where they're supposed to be taking a real look at their women's division, but ultimately they don't care about their women's division. At this point, they don't believe any of the women are draws. At this point, they didn't believe CM Punk was a draw, and look at where they're at now. So
Yeah, yeah.
hubris. But SmackDown was fire. Really
I think it
good.
was maybe a top 10 SmackDown of the year to me. It was really good.
How did you feel about Uncle Howdy? We saw Uncle Howdy.
That was my least favorite part of it, and I keep wanting to lipo this and be team lipo. I'm starting to wonder if Bray is healthy. I'm starting to wonder if
Mm.
like he's able to actually get physical because he has not
He
gotten
does have that
physical
knee brace.
exactly. But I'm also like, well, am I making excuse? You know what I'm saying? Am I making excuses for this? To you know what I'm saying? Am I being too? Because here's my thing. Let me just be clear. The crowd is eating this shit up. Every city they go to, so I am clearly in a minority. It's
Right.
me, maybe a couple other people that are not eating this shit up. The crowd loves it every week. Chicago loved what they saw. I just wish there was some type of contention, and maybe I need to be a little more open. There's some type of contention that like the show is going to shift to this universe now, and then it's going to go back to regular things because the announcers don't even address it. You know, it's like they don't even talk about it after it happens. The lights go out, commercial goes, then they come back and they say, "Well, we're not going to talk about that." I was just like, well, you have to because I'm trying to make sense of what the fuck we just saw. And then the announcer's telling you no. I'm just like, I'm not going to go to Reddit to go read about what any of this shit means. You know what I mean? Like I'm not. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I think one of the things kind of always holding back Bray Wyatt is that he existed in a universe without his own, but you never really saw him in like number one contenders matches. You never saw him interact with. You never saw these kind of like interactions that would want you to be excited for upcoming future feuds or something. Like even the Roman Reigns thing, right? Like they haven't faced off prominently since Roman Reigns came back, and that wasn't even a proper face off in itself. So I think they're really losing things by not really putting him in anything else to succeed as an actual wrestler superstar on the roster, um, as opposed to being this like just kind of thing that happens and then it comes and goes as it please.
but
Um,
if he is hurt, I get it. You know what I mean? Like I get it. I understand if he's hurt. Let's I just want to see something happen. You know what I mean? And I think that to me is what I'm frustrated with, because here's my thing. I'm not blaming none of this on LA Knight. He's doing some of his best work in the company since I've seen him. The first, you know what I'm saying? Like he's doing some of his best work. I thought his promo on Friday was fantastic. But it had to go with the bracelet. And the bracelet was confusing. It was like it wasn't even like, is he in cahoots with the guy? Is he not? He only looked upset or surprised that he was there in the final couple seconds of the actual segment. And I felt like the producer was like, "Hey, you're laughing too much. Like you got to make it look like you don't know what's going on." It was weird.
Absolutely.
It was weird. Um, we got a big
How do you?
announcement at the end of the show.
Yeah, this is true. I was gonna talk about the hit row thing,
Oh
which is
yeah. Oh
funny as
my.
hell.
The baby doesn't
Just
like it
quick.
either.
No, clearly not. Hit rows. That was a choice to do. He says his leg gave out. I kind of believe him, but also I feel like that isn't something you should be doing anyway.
You know what else I don't think he should be doing? Never mind. Go ahead.
Nonetheless, no. Let's go back to the end of SmackDown because that was a big, powerful, like real great segment.
It was, now that I see what this prediction is going to be, it was Fox. You better get your shit right because we can do this whenever. You know what I'm saying? Like it was Fox, get your shit right. Roman Reigns comes out. Sammy thinks he's going to become, an actual Uso, not an honorary Uso. Roman is still perturbed by what he's seen from Sammy since War Games and before War Games. And the thing that I like about this story so far is that Jay, of his own creation, has caused the skepticism in Roman finally. So he's finally got through to Roman when Jay's all in. Don't you hate when that happens? But so now he's skeptical of Sammy, and he said, me and you, Sammy, we're gonna face KO with a partner of his choice for the December 30th episode of SmackDown. KO, who wasn't on the show, I guess he had travel issues, I heard. He calls John Cena, and John Cena shows up on the screen, skinny as hell. It's gonna be kind of odd. I don't know if he's gonna be able to bulk. I'm used to like freak of nature Cena, right? Like he's really skinny now.
I'm okay with him looking like a human being because his forearms were bigger than people's arms. Like that was insane. Like so I'm okay. I can deal with him. I don't have to see him every week. It's not noticeable every week.
Yeah.
Um so as long as he might even wear a shirt, to be honest with you. He probably
And
won't.
we had wondered what John would be doing on the show. He had been announced that a couple days before that last week that he was going to be on the show, and we know now that it's going to be Kevin Owens, John Cena versus Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn on December 30th. That is a big time match. That is
I love
a
it.
that is a match that you end the year on because you're setting up the storylines that lead into 2023 from there. And I got to say, bravo to Kevin Owens. Bravo to Sami Zayn. Look at that. Look at that. These two guys were doing ladder wars. They were in CZW together. You know what I'm saying? And now they're on the final SmackDown, biggest show in the company on the last episode with Roman Reigns and John Cena. That to me is power right there. And
Hey
I want
man,
to
even the segue there, like that final moment on Raw too. I thought that was incredible as well. Like continuing to build this tension, and I think they did a great job at. To me, everything on Raw was building for next year. This was a big like,
see you
let's
next year.
pencil that in. Yeah, let's pencil that into 2023. Minus that last SmackDown, which I'm just gonna count as 2023 anyway. But they did a lot of great stuff, like on Raw, Bloodline coming in, beating up everybody, harassing everybody. Um, poor Chase U, Andre Chase shows up, gets beats up. Ali, par the course, so not even really surprised there. Um,
What a look for Chase U. I popped for that really huge.
yeah, you got to. Those are like nice little Easter egg things. They beat up the
Yeah.
club, the OC. Um, which I'm a fan of, just in general. AJ clapped back, got his match against AJ, got his match against Sammy, lost to the Blue Thunder Bomb.
I
Also, I
said
popped
these
for that.
I said these niggas is winning too much. I said, all right,
Bro,
bro.
they got Sammy winning. I was
They
like,
got
y'all got,
Sammy winning. Even when Sammy had like, remember he had Cesaro and Nakamura on his team, he was still taking L's.
yeah, he was not the big winner. And to be honest, it didn't matter. That's like this is 20-second tangent. That's what bothers me about the Sasha Banks thing and people saying that she wasn't treated right. I feel like you were treated right. And the fact that you didn't have a long reign is it doesn't matter.
It means
I
nothing.
feel like, yeah, it doesn't matter. And you know what? I was talking to my homegirl last night about this because she was talking to me about like kind of from the perspective of a black woman. And I was just like, I understand and I see where you coming from with this, but also I feel like this is a business, and at the end of the day this is also more entertainment. So like when you're holding it as a sport, when you want to have these long reigns and you feel like you're going to be the top person, all of that comes from the passionate side, the passionate wrestling fan you are, which I respect. But ultimately at the end of the day, none of that matters if you're presented in a certain way on television. Like if you're presented as a big star, which Sasha Banks was, you will be a big star. And The Rock was always presented as a big star. I can't tell you how many times in the year 2000 that man took a pedigree like to end the
And
show.
here's my thing: if you leave before you're an actual big star, you will not become the said big star.
The momentum is dipped away, dropped away, and then you're gonna be doing all types of things to try to just keep yourself up at that level.
If you
Um,
haven't been on TV for a long time, then anyway, um,
speaking of women on TV, Becky and Bailey.
banger. I love
Listen,
it. Give me two more of
I
those.
I was questioned about like, damn, this is placed. It's not the main event, which I get. Um, it's at the top of the third hour, which is kind of rough, but like they still killed it. Like it was incredible. Um,
Becky is every time she comes back, she gets better. Now, because now you know what's funny about her? She's quicker and like
I think yeah, and I think she's able to. I think she's actually smarter than she ever used to be. I think as an in ring performer, being doing this for so long now, and not to say that she wasn't before, but I just think she's really, really like smart in how she does things now and how she positions herself. And she's taking these L's, but they're not really L. This is again what we were talking about. Becky Lynch took the L. If people are trying to get the contract size of,
mhm,
Charlotte and Becky Lynch, like
mhm.
these are the things you got to be able to do. You know what I'm saying? And
They getting
still
paid.
be able to convincingly do it.
Becky lost to Dana Brooke this year. All right, and y'all worried about a contract. This is
That's what I'm saying. And I feel like the Meltzer thing. This is so sidebar because that Meltzer thing irked me when it named Charlotte and Becky because I was just like, this is so that's so like nasty
and
because like
damn
these
well you know Meltzer isn't intersectional at all. That's my
yeah
thing. It's like he don't care about black women at all. He don't care about how much women get paid. He positioned that to start and rile up an argument that would essentially become a race war because it's not
absolutely.
about Becky and Charlotte at all. It really isn't. Because at the end of the day, I'm sure Sasha wasn't getting paid. You know what I'm saying? Like, and here's the thing: we don't know how much these people are getting paid.
We
Let's
never
just
know.
let's just be clear. Let's be clear here as well. But at the end of the day, it's like Meltzer's not intersectional. So why y'all believe in him? Like it's crazy. He's also been wrong
um
more this year than he's ever been ever. So I don't
absolutely.
makes no sense.
Let's see what else happened on Raw. Alexa Bliss smashes the vase over Bianca Belair's head. I thought that was amazing. I was like,
Good ass
wow.
promo. Good ass promo too. I thought that she came off really believable. I thought Bianca came off as believable, and it had me wanting the match now.
I love it. Um,
Ladder
Rhea
match.
Rip. I gotta. All right, we can get there. I was gonna actually wrap up with this, but Dexter Loomis versus The Miz, winner take all ladder match. This
Fun.
this program has been so consistently wacky and terrible in my opinion that I think the ending of this was par for the course.
To have a really good match and then have Bronson Reed show up is just part of the course for this.
I was just like, what is going on here? Like, why are we doing this? Like, I get Champa's not coming back, but that was like,
But Champa can come back and you could do DIY again. And there in
right.
2023, I'll buy that main roster because there's a story there with Miz and there's a story there with Champa misplaced. And if this is your new KO Sammy type thing, you start it there. So I dig it.
I love how Miz just hauled off on Johnny Gargano. I was like, about damn time. Beat that motherfucker's ass. I was like, fuck him. Like, no offense, but like
Wait,
this
why fuck him?
feud was he's been terrorizing the Miz. Like, how can Miz be the bad guy in this situation?
Here's my thing, right?
Because he lied about something that had nothing concerning him.
It's a wacky story. I thought the ladder match was fun.
Ladder match was fun.
I still question if Weirdo Man will if he's not 24/7 bound or he's better off in that position.
I'm not sure where we put Dexter Loomis. It could really swing either way, but um, I don't know.
Get him over,
I don't
John.
have enough. Yeah, I don't have enough confidence in him as an actual solo entity. If I had to do my
I
pick,
saw I saw a tweet that almost made me want to be on Bronson Reed's side. It says, for a company like New Japan to give you a moment like this in your first year with them, and the moment is Bronson or Jonah Rock versus Okada. And for you and for you to fumble by going to be the Miz's bodyguard, I already remember why the industry got so monopolized these last few years. Working smart, not hard, huh? Listen, do you feel as though Bronson Reed is going to be making what he made or what he makes now in WWE in New Japan?
Nah, not even close.
So he had to make the best move for his family, not for you, you dork. Christ. Anyway, that was Raw. Oh, Rhea Ripley beating up men.
Yeah, fire. How could we deny it? Like, it was a great match. Akira Tozawa was great at his job.
It got a little wonky and wacky toward the end, but yeah, it was. Do something with her, please. Give
It's
her a
very
title.
true.
Do you feel like it's gonna be Rhea Bianca at Royal Rumble?
No,
Okay,
I feel like they're gonna run back Alexa.
okay, and then you're gonna have. I mean, Charlotte's coming back. What better time to do Rhea
Oof,
than
when they announced that Charlotte returns at the Royal Rumble promo,
yeah?
I'm throwing my fucking pants in there. I'm like, thank God.
For Newt the Coop, bro. Like for where the French want for Newt the Coop, bro.
Hey, give me
Somebody
some
coming up.
YouTube beautiful. Give me some YouTube beautiful day to it. Just, I'm ready. I'm ready for that.
Here's the thing: niggas will say y'all ready for Charlotte to come back, and then she monopolizes television, and then you're like, I'm ready for her to leave again.
I'm ready. I don't like. Don't do her versus Ronda again. That was like the most testosterone
I
based
am.
women's feud.
I am the opportunity.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just don't do that again. I'm fine with like anything else. Charlotte Liv, I'm good with that. Like Charlotte versus, well, not anyone on Raw.
How many
Maybe
clean jobs you think? How many clean jobs you think she's taking?
Charlotte.
Yes.
On SmackDown. You seen SmackDown? They got Emma there, nigga.
All right. See, this nigga's green. All right.
First match she come back, she big booting Raquel. You're like, I'm the biggest bitch on this roster. Fuck y'all.
Raquel looking at the lights.
Hey man.
Anyway, let's get into our year-end discussion, if you will. What was it like this year for you? Was it easy?
It was. I sat in Starbucks and filled this thing out pretty handily.
So
I was like, oh,
this week we're very positive. All right.
okay.
And next week, I want to think of something like to do next week because I think it's going to be a little light because a lot of the conversation is going to be heavy. And obviously, we're going to have a lot more to talk about, next week as well. But I want to think of something else to
negative
talk
next
about.
week.
I don't want to be full. It's not fully. Oh, it is fully negative.
We get fully negative next week.
So this week is the best of. Okay, next week is the worst of.
Amen.
I want to start it off with best, or do you want to start with worst? I mean, either
No.
way.
I support this. I support people waiting for the negativity next week because I feel like that's going to be amazing. So I look forward to that.
Okay, so let's start it off with our big superlatives here. Match of the year. This was from 2023. Every company, or I'm sorry, 2022. So shit, I'm in the future. I'm future right now.
You in the future,
Anyway,
baby. Come on. Yeah.
let's start it off with the match of the year 2023 in a unanimous vote.
2022.
I said it again. Yo, I'm
Yes,
ready
you in
for
the
the year
future.
to
I
be
know your
over.
year's over. Your year's over. I know your year's over, but some of us still gotta go to work.
Oh God, 2022. I'm sorry, y'all. The unanimous decision is Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins, Hell in a Cell. These two had 3 matches in 3 months. I would argue that 2 of them to me got my highest honor. One of them I was actually in the building for, so it was a little skewed, but I think a lot of people would agree that it was a fantastic, near perfect match. The second one is kind of less talked about. I actually didn't even go back and watch that one, but the third one, off the Richter scale. You had the drama of the Friday before we found out that Cody was injured and he was potential. There was a potential he would not be competing in the Hell in a Cell match, and that he was actually going to go ahead and do it. So the whole night you're waiting to see what is going to happen. I think the whole show didn't mean anything, right? Like you're just waiting for the main event at that point, and then you see the match. You see Cody come out. He's not even lifting his arms, and you get that moment. And I don't think there has ever been a moment in wrestling since I've been watching it where the crowd legitimately, and no one said anything, Meelz, they shut up and you heard a gasp when he takes off his robe and you see it.
Hey man, this is classic Cody. This is hamming it up for the sake of hamming it up. If he could have did this in AEW, he would have too. I mean, he put himself through a fucking flaming table at this point. Um, but if he could have done this, he would have. But this is classic Cody.
Absolutely. And from there, the match itself was strange because if you go back and watch it, no one's really cheering. Everyone is like in shock for 10 minutes of this match. And he's taking bumps. And at that point, you actually feel as though people are saying, this is the most compassionate audience, wherever the fuck they were that night, because it looked like and it felt like they did not want to see this match go on. But then Cody starts getting offense, and if you could ever imagine someone or that you've ever seen a match, right, where someone actually competed with one fucking arm, you've seen it, and they went for like 30 minutes.
This was this was big. They were in Chicago, well, Rosemont, Illinois.
Rosemont, yeah.
So where we were, well, no, actually, we weren't there. Were we there on SmackDown? Same place.
SmackDown was Rosemont. From SmackDown was Rosemont, yes.
Okay, all right. So yeah, nah, I fully support this match. This was best match of the year by far. Well, I don't want to say by far, but it's pretty close.
No, I think it's far and away. I got to give it up to Cody, and also give it up to Seth for having the care that he did for Cody's state in his physical being. They pulled out weapons, they pulled out chairs, they pulled out tables, they pulled out fucking wasn't they pulled out everything in this match. And Cody gets the win with one arm. The next night he gets taken out on TV, and Seth goes into his mad character. And I mean, we still see it. We don't know when Cody's coming back. We don't know how they'll change and shift Seth when he comes back. But there's definitely going to be some hell to pay, no pun intended, when that rolls back around when Cody comes back. So, Meelz, what was your runner up for match of the year?
So my runner up is Sheamus versus Gunther at Clash at the Castle. I mean,
Fantastic.
5 star. Both of these are 5 star to me, but that I think it's enough said. I mean, I talked about it on the YouTube show. Classic, great encounter, hard hitting. It's all the shit that I'm about, to be honest with you. But I like to see. That's why I love random matches like that, like the William Regal matches, or the Gunther versus Ilya Dragunov matches and stuff like that. Like just true battle tested matches. So that was my runner up. What say you, sir?
My runner up was Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. This was, for so many reasons, this was an important match, just for not only Team Lipo, but for the culmination of almost a year of conversation, concern, and if not for nothing, the fans are passionate about this, and they're passionate about Bianca, they're passionate about Becky, but having that meet in one place, the stadium, the atmosphere, the crowd, I was there. There wasn't a soul alive in there that was not on Bianca's side, and when she comes out with the band, and that whole thing was just amazing to see live. You know what I mean? And I can't think of a better match that I've seen live. I mean, we got Cody in them right after that, but like, I can't see anything that was better than that to me. Like, it was just such a sublime match, from the storytelling of Becky being so desperate to Bianca being, smarter than Becky, and knowing all of her tricks. I mean, they started it with the manhandle slam spot, and everyone bit on it. I thought she was going to lose again, and I knew better. But it was such a great fucking match, and shout out to Bianca for going through with it with one eye. I mean, she got her eye pretty much like closed shut by one of an errant elbow from Becky, I believe. And listen, it was fantastic. You know, Mills, the one thing that I will say about these matches of the year that we picked this year, the one constant between them is fan interaction and fan empathy. With Cody and Seth, they cared about Cody. With Sheamus and Gunther, that was a hometown crowd for Sheamus, and they cared about him winning or not, and they gave him that ovation. With Bianca and Becky, the fans were completely into Bianca, and when she won, the roof went off in that place. So, like, really, the fans made these matches this year.
I agree. And you know what? Full first. This is our first full year back, from the COVID thing, and everything is delivered thus far.
Absolutely. Wrestler of the year. This is going to be
Roman.
contentious.
What?
Or, Meelz,
What?
you say Roman Reigns?
Yes, easily. Like, who else would it be? Like, the man put the entire year on his back. Like, banger with everybody, everybody, except maybe Goldberg, but that's not his fault. But
Why do people keep? I haven't rewatched that. Was it really that
I
bad?
haven't rewatched. I don't remember. I'm just assuming. I can't remember that match, but the mere fact I can't remember that match is enough for me to say
Okay.
like, what's going on here? And then I guess the Brock match at Mania too. But like sometimes it's not even about the matches. Sometimes it's just about the moment too. Like the fact that he goes into the room and it's important now. Like everything is important when he shows up. When he shows up to Raw, when he shows up, he kicked off Raw last week. I was like, oh shit, I need to be watching this. What the fuck is he saying? Like when he's on SmackDown, it's like, oh, okay, Roman's on SmackDown. We gotta tune in. Like the air of importance he brings to anything that he puts down is a testament to not only WWE's like building of his character, but like where he's at as a star, and then also just the star making matches he puts on. The match with Logan Paul is Bad Bunny. Always thought Bad Bunny had the best, celebrity performance, but Roman versus Logan Paul was like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
incredible.
Mm-hmm. An unforgettable match. Like, I know people talk about the injury to Logan in that match, but it's like it was Roman's professionalism that was also there. Like he was awesome in that match. My wrestler of the year was Seth Rollins. I thought that though he is maybe several rungs below Roman in terms of stardom and star power, when it comes to in rings, I feel as though he is at or above those levels, and that's why I put him there. This is the guy that actually did face off with Roman this year, gave him one of his contested L's that was a DQ finish, but had one of our moments of the year. He was someone that again main event the pay per view, one of their highest viewed Hell in a Cells this year. So he was someone that actually drew them some money, and I got them some money and got them in the door. Took 3 L's to Cody Rhodes and did not lose any of his stature for it. U.S. champion this year, bangers with everyone, including those dorks like Elrod and fucking Ezekiel and shit like that. He was having great matches with them, and now he's being tasked with helping make Austin Theory, or this new version of Austin Theory, and I think that it's going pretty well right now, and I'm actually enjoying it. I think in terms of in ring, on the mic, he's taken it to another level. He's stepped up this year, and I gotta give him the rub here. Like he is that guy that I always believed that he was going to be, and I cannot wait. And I'm wishing, praying, and hoping that he is a focal point of 2023, especially within the title picture, because it's been too long, Meelz, since he's had a top title in the WWE.
I agree, but doesn't look like it's gonna stop from my winner of rest of the year. It doesn't look like it's slowing down at all. Um, but I agree. It's been way too long.
And I believe he was your runner up. So we actually swapped.
Yeah, be swapped. So all the stuff that he said, just think of it, but like lesser for me, and vice versa.
I actually felt as though Roman, other than his big marquee matches this year, he wrestled less. That's for damn sure than he did in 2020 and 2021. But I think that other than his marquee matches, there were not many matches I remember from him. I remember Logan. I remember the WrestleMania match because I was there. I remember the SummerSlam matches because that's in my top 5 matches of the year. But in terms of like anything else, it's character that drew it for me with Roman, and obviously him drawing so much money. So like obviously I got to put him there. But I think that just in ring, I just enjoyed Seth a lot more this year. So Roman was my runner up for wrestler of the year. Um, Tag team of the year. unanimously. I think this is the first time that me and you have gotten unanimous in a lot of things this year. But unanimously, we picked the Usos. We the ones. Y'all the twos.
I They got really good matches. I wanted to try to find someone else, to be honest with you, because I didn't really want to pick the Usos. To be honest with you, Usos have been around for a long time and they've reinvented themselves to some extent, but they've been around quite a bit. And I don't know, they have really good matches, but yeah, it's a
It goes
it was
without
like a
saying.
begrudgingly. Yeah, it goes without saying.
They won the unified titles. They broke the New Day streak. I mean, you could, who else? Who but them could you have given it to this year? Like they really set the standards. Like they were the ones this year that people are talking about. They main evented more shows. They main event shows damn near every single week. Matches with damn near everyone. I know someone brought up like they lost 11 matches. I'm like, okay, like like they still broke all these records. You know what I mean? Like it does not matter. Um, it has to be the Usos. My runner up for this year was actually FTR, who I felt like even though they did not have many matches or as much as the Usos, they definitely had quality. I thought their match with the Briscoes, the first one, I haven't seen the second one yet, from this year was one of my favorite matches of the year, and to me that kept them in contention for very long for a pretty long time. I just think that it's funny that like they're being booked the way that they are in AEW. What was your runner up, Mills?
So my runner up was the Creed brothers. I just thought they did an amazing job in NXT Tag Team Champions, won the Dusty Cup Classic. Uh, Really, it's a lot of carrying from Julius Creed himself, but still, nonetheless, I think they are a team that's definitely bona fide and has been built up in a great way in NXT. So I'm gonna say like beyond Pretty Deadly, I think they are the stars of the NXT Tag Team division from this year.
Absolutely. I think Pretty Deadly would definitely be in my top five as well. Um, let's go to female wrestler of the year. Unanimous decision, Bianca Belair. I want to do something different. What would you say, Meelz, if someone said Bianca Belair was not the female wrestler of the year? Like, what is the argument against that? And I feel like there's going to be some people saying a Britt Baker, or they're going to say like a Jamie Hayter, or they're going to say like a, some people might say Becky. You know what I'm saying? What's your argument against people saying that it's not Bianca this year?
I don't know. I would probably say like you're wilding. Like, do you have two eyes? Can you process information correctly? Is that how? How do you not pick Bianca in this kind of position, especially considering she's held it for the majority of the year, has won from a majority of the year, has been more consistent and has like to be working at the level that she's at, but still the amount of years that she's wrestled, again is just big in general. I think I couldn't say I don't want to put down anybody else to say why is she there, but I feel like you would be wilding to ignore her consistency and everything else that she's contributed this year for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, stadium shows, every single one of them, she was on them. She really put her foot down on everything. She's been there weekly. The longest reign of anyone right now. Like not named Roman. You know what I mean? Like she's been up there and she's defeated some pretty big names. The series with Bailey itself. Say what you will about whatever the creative was behind it. Her and Bailey went to war multiple times this year, and she competed in her first War Games and did a great job at it. And I mean, from SummerSlam or from Mania to SummerSlam, had a fantastic run, even with extenuating circumstances about surrounding her title reign. Still managed to give us really good triple threat matches, really good matches with Asuka, really good matches with pretty much everyone that was put in front of her. I got to give it up to Bianca. Like she is, to me, she isn't almost the new Cena. She is the new Cena to me. Like she is that baby face that you get behind and gets a reaction everywhere that you go. Keep her with the way that she is. I think that she's money right now. My You have a very shocking runner up, Meals. I looked at this the other day and I said, "Wow, I can't believe you did this." Who was your runner up female wrestler of the year?
But I don't know if it's that shocking. Liv Morgan is pretty good. I mean, I would say it was more shocking because in 2021, in 2021 we put her as the most overrated.
Yeah, we did. We did.
So for her to come this far is a testament to the amount of work that she's done. She's been consistently, like Quan pointed out, most matches this year, has been the most consistent, has been the most malleable, versatile. She's jumping from tag division to solo star to back, and she's been beloved at all. I think she's worked hard enough this year and consistently throughout this year, from top to bottom, and even some shit in the middle too. Um, to be at least considered. I mean, she's done a lot of great stuff this year. I got to give it to Liv.
Absolutely. My runner up is, it might not even be fair because she was off TV for a considerable amount of time, but Becky Lynch is my runner up. But I'm counting this from her first half of the year, facing off against Liv, Dewdrop on a main show, by the way. Liv more, did I say Liv? Liv, Dewdrop, Lita, Bianca, of course. Her Psycho Becky run in the summer of 2022. All of that, like the changes that her character went to before she got back to becoming the man and becoming the person that everybody wanted her to be again, was such a great arc. It was a shame that the injury happened after SummerSlam and took her off TV for so long, but I'm glad that she's back. And as we said earlier in the show, still having bangers, just like having fantastic matches still. Um, Feud of the year. My pick for feud of the year was Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch. Again, it goes into what I said for their match of the year. It was a culmination of just so many different things from SummerSlam to SummerSlam. These two were joined at the hip, spiritually, because Bianca had to get back to where she was at with Becky again. When she finally got to that moment, she proved herself more than once and proved that she was the better person, and Becky had to bow down. I think if you look at it from 365, from year to year or from moment to moment, it's the first time they've ever really done a story like this where it's actually stretched for a whole year. And I think that's what people missed in all in all the controversy of Becky versus Bianca, is that they actually did carry through this storyline and ended the way that we essentially wanted them to in the end. So that was my feud of the year. What was yours, Meelz?
It was a very, very great like anime Goku and Vegeta ending for that feud. So I'll
It
give it
was.
that.
Yeah.
Um, Seth Rollins versus Cody also feels very anime to me. Um, just this guy who feels like this guy, this foreigner is coming in and usurping his role and feeling threatened in that aspect, and especially creating the moment of the first match at WrestleMania, um, continuing to battle. I mean, through three matches and Cody winning them all. I think this feud has legs because they're both quality performers working at a high level, and you can they to me, one of the big marks of this feud, and just kind of like the dichotomy of like who they are as personalities on the main roster. Look at that. Look at that segment where they announced the Hell in a Cell match,
Mhm.
where Cody kind of where Seth rolls in on TV laughing like a villain maniac, and like ha ha ha, and then Cody is like, essentially, this is what we're gonna have to do, and he's playing the hero in this aspect. I felt like that was the perfect heel versus face combo that we've
Right.
ever seen on television. And I think both of these guys, this is my feud of the year by virtue of both of these guys playing their role perfectly to a T, um, through the 3 months that was actually accomplished.
And that was my runner up. Again, I'm not mad at either of those being anyone's number one. I thought Seth and Cody carried the year. This was a very strong feud for both men, and I think that I never thought of. I don't know if you did, Meals, but I never thought of like Cody as Seth's like perfect foil in terms of like kind of like the chosen one type thing, and they played it off really well as the two, Dusty's kind of real son and his adopted kind of son, where it's like, yo, they're both trying to prove that they're the best. That not only they're the best, but they're living up to his legacy, and I thought that was such a great a great feud and a great story to kind of carry them, and I can't wait to see what they do next. What was your runner up?
So my runner up, and this is I guess our first, well, no, I guess FTR's AEW entry. This is a notable AEW entry. MJF versus CM Punk from this year. I think this was when we talked about what's the biggest thing that AEW could do and we named a lot of matches, and we named a lot of people. We talked about Daniel Bryan, mostly CM Punk, but also include like Daniel Bryan, Kenny Omega, and stuff like that. I think MJF and CM Punk was something that really brought the essence of an actual like thought out long form program to AEW television that really has not been quite frankly been seen since, or been seen ever, unless you counting like Kenny versus Hangman Page. But I think both of these guys played their role to a T. Great talkers. CM Punk understands the pacing of like a sports entertainment feud. And yeah, I think it just worked out really, really well. And it was one of the best, most heated rivalries of the year for sure.
Yeah,
What say you?
it didn't feel like it was written by Tony Khan. You know what I mean? It felt like it was Punk really wants to work with this guy and he's gonna make it happen no matter what. They had great promos. That long MJF promo about him being Jewish and you know how Punk helped him when he was he was younger and stuff like that. And
A
um
young Jew boy.
yeah.
I was like, Jew boy. Okay.
But no, it was again taking something from reality and kind of cranking it up to 10, if you will, as they do in wrestling. But it did work. And again, I'm not mad at that one at all.
And I don't think he's been able to find the magic with anyone else, to be honest with you. As great as MJF is, I don't think he's able to find that magic with anyone else. This was the perfect generation versus generation, someone who paved the way versus someone who's walking that path. Like, I think it was the probably the best. Yeah, it's the best view that AEW has this year for sure.
Guilty pleasure of the year. Now, this is positive. I put this on the positive slant because it's like, it's a guilty pleasure. It's something that we enjoy. It's something positive that we get. What was your guilty pleasure of 2022?
Mine was Saray, and I don't know where she's at now. I hope
I don't
whatever
know either.
planet she's on, I hope whatever planet she's on, she's find drinkable water, uh, edible food. So I hope there's air. I hope there's something there, but I really don't know where she's at. I would like her to come back. She's never gonna
Right.
have that Mandy feud now. It's a wrap for that shit. Um,
Maybe send her to a different universe, bro. That shit crazy. No, maybe
yeah,
she's taking fan planet or wherever the fuck they're at now.
this is very true. But yeah, I have no idea where she's at. So, oof.
My guilty pleasure, and this is going to be heartbreaking for many. My guilty pleasure is actually, and this is not the characters, but the I think it was a pleasure for me to see this company do right by a new team because they just don't know how to do it with anything else. I actually thought the Acclaimed was my guilty pleasure of 2022. And the few times I did watch AEW, while I'm not into the safe black, thing with them, um, I can I can really appreciate the fact that they're over on their own and they're over without having been on like being the elite and doing all of that silly bullshit that the other people in that company do. They're over because they actually had something that these fans reacted to. And I can appreciate that. And I'll give them I want to give them their flowers this year for breaking through that ceiling in AEW and getting over, even if the company wasn't even positioning them to get over. It wasn't supposed to be them, but they made it so that it was them, and they took something from Swerve. So I got to give it to them.
My second guilty pleasure of the year is Chase U. Oh, my runner up is Chase U. I don't even know if that's a guilty pleasure. I guess it is if you watch NXT.
I
Because a
mean,
lot of
yeah,
people don't watch NXT. But Chase
NXT
U is
is
tremendous.
everyone Chase U and NXT is everyone's guilty pleasure because
When I found out Andre Chase was the guy um, from the Bravado Brothers, I was like, holy fuck. Like everyone from that one Evolve show that I went to would become a star. I was like,
yeah,
God damn.
yeah,
It's like,
he's
holy
making it
shit.
work. And the thing is, when he was introduced, I wasn't not a fan of him. I thought the gimmick was funny, but I was like, how is this going to work? And they made it work. And shout out to them because they've gotten a lot. I want to see them win some gold though in NXT. They gotta go from being jokes to actually being legit in some way, shape, or form. My runner up was King Von, as Quan calls him, Von Wagner. He's
I think
turned the
that's
corner this year.
disrespectful to the dead. But I've never told Quan that to his face. But yes, go ahead.
Oh my god. um, I think he's turned the corner, and I think that he's actually a really good big man. And I think that the thing is that like they don't know what like NXT, right? Like they always push the smaller guys. So they never have like really bigger guys have the title or have any type of thing going on there. But it's like I think Vaughn could have been a believable NXT champion, but I don't want them to get gun shy on actually booking someone that's bigger than 6 feet tall to be the champion. I think that he might be ready to do it. I thought that Lisp aside, as funny as people, much people make fun of that as they will, I do think he's an imposing threat, and I think that him with Robert Stone is actually like a good pairing. I won't say good pairing. I think it looks good. I just don't like Robert Stone as a manager. I think he's a terrible manager. Like I'm not a fan of Robert Stone. Like he needs an actual legit manager. Maybe they should call Adam Cole and manage Von Wagner.
I don't like talking about check stealers because it's tough for everybody out here right now to have a job. Um, but I agree with you.
Yeah.
Um, I would say that for sure.
Pay-per-view or PLE, whatever you want to call it, special of the year. Unanimously between myself and Meelz, WrestleMania 38 Night 1 was our special pay-per-view of the year. What more needs to be said? I mean, this is a card that had Stone Cold's return,
Don't
Bianca
cold
versus
fucking. That's
Bianca
period.
versus
End of the story.
yeah, I mean, truthfully, you know what I'm saying. It had that. It had Bianca versus Becky. It had the return of Cody Rhodes and the match subsequently after, and it also had like really like has like sleeper stuff. It wasn't like Drew and Baron was on that card as well. Like they had some really fucking good matches, and from start to finish, this show was to me one of the best. That I mean, let's just be clear. This is the last Vince McMahon WrestleMania ever. You know what I mean? So like just for that alone, it's like, yo, like this is the last one that he ever booked, that nasty motherfucker. And it ended up being one of the best of all time. And yeah, I really love this show.
I agree. I agree 100%. Um, yeah, there's nothing else. We both have the same fucking thing. So
And our
there's not. Yeah,
and our runner up, is uh SummerSlam, which was Triple H's first pay-per-view that he had ever
hey
done
man,
as the new
hey
head of
man.
creative.
He should have did WrestleMania too. I feel like if there's any way that would have been better, it was if Triple H was booking it. But no, I mean SummerSlam was. I think it was as much of a spectacle, but it was more so, I think, a coming out party for the new regime of WWE. And it kicked off with so much things that we see now more days. I mean, we've seen a lot, the influx of talent that's returned to the WWE. It kind of all started at SummerSlam with Dakota and Io Sky. Um, it had the conclusion to Bianca versus Becky, which again culminated this year long feud. Um, Judgment Day having their first really big outing against the Mysterios and Edge coming back and that kind of moment that you had there. Brock versus Roman Reigns was just a main event where, to me, if you look at it and you look at like a picture of it and you see kind of like where you see the ring and the chaos and stuff, I think it perfectly tells the story of like what these two are capable of. They're like two giant fucking kaijus going at it. Like they
Right.
demolished an entire ring, and I think that's what was missing from the initial match of like how destructive, like how big of entities are these guys truly, and it just had so many other stuff. I mean, Liv versus Ronda, a couple other things, but it was just a great SummerSlam. You can enjoy having a great SummerSlam is usually like a telling of a great year in wrestling.
Bro, you
And
had Pat McAfee versus Baron Corbin, and that shit banged.
this is true.
That shit, was-
Yeah,
that shit was
you had
heat.
what's my man's name? Logan Paul versus The
Logan
Miz,
versus
and Logan
Miz, yeah,
Paul. Come on now,
banged.
this was great.
Third, second matches of the year, and he's already rookie of the year, bro. Like shit's crazy. Um, all right, so next up, hottest news story of the year, and this is the craziest. This is crazy because Me and you have like, okay, unanimously, Brawl Out is the biggest news story of the year. Okay,
Of course. You're
I
gonna hear
don't
us
know
talk about it
what.
on our YouTube thing, by the way.
Yeah, I don't go subscribe to our YouTube. Number one, that's just off top. There's not much more that we can talk about with this other than this is a banner year for wrestling in ring and outside of it because of outside forces. Obviously, all of these things are important. Obviously, we all have an opinion on things, but it's like, do you feel as though Brawl Out is actually going to be like the most talked about thing over like some of this other stuff that we have here?
Yeah, I actually do. I feel like it's a to this was the one chink in the armor of AEW that I felt like this greatly exposed them and kind of like how businesses actually run over there. For a number of years, I mean, we talked about it, and I think we've always like hinted about it. It's like, yo, once the backstage stuff starts bubbling, it's gonna look crazy for a lot of people in AEW. But everyone was like, we're touting the talent. Everyone's like, oh my god, black wrestler draws, and this guy needs a push, and that guy needs a push, and MJF is the future, and all this other stuff like that. While I mean, we've heard all the things, but we were like, yo, there's a simmering thing going on backstage here. And I feel like this was the first kind of great look at like, yo, not everything, not perception is not reality with AEW. And you could clearly see it from how that man, I still laugh at empty-headed, dumb fuck. um, but I think it will be because I think it's a massive fumble. Like, how you lose CM Punk? Like, again, we've talked about this on our thing before, but it's like, I think this shows that like not everything. But you know what the crazy thing is? I think people still overall choose to ignore it. I think people are coming around on like, this isn't, not everything here is up to speed, and it's actually kind of annoying at times. Um, because for before this and for a long time before this, I think people ignored it. Oh, the matches are great. Like, what do you need to think? Like, you're doing such great work here. Like, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you really? Like, are they? Like, is
Yeah,
everyone being mobilized in the best way that they could possibly? And it was like, no. But I think this exposed kind of like how they run their business, the favoritism, the cheap shots backstage, all these other stuff like that. And I think it really gave, it happens in all wrestling federations, but it never bubbles to the top. Poor management,
yeah.
um, and stuff like that. I think that this is very, very telling
It's Tony.
of
Tony
the,
coming. Tony coming.
yeah. I think this is very telling of the brand that's supposed to be the alternative.
Yeah, no, I absolutely. And I mean, my runner up was Vince McMahon retires. Your runner up was Rhodes leaves AEW. These to me are all number one kind of potential moments. I just think that it is funny because it's like the brawl out took us back to 95, 96, 97 Brett Sean type shit. You know what I mean? And I think people, and I think that's why it was such a big thing that was talked about for months, whereas Vince was only talked about for like 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Like once Triple H came back into the picture, people moved on because the product had changed and people's attention had changed so quickly. Even the newest Vince news that came out last week that we were talking about, no one's talking about it anymore. They're back to CM Punk shouting out Roman Reigns. You know
You
what I
know
mean?
what's
Because
crazy? My boss in my job, who is, I think he's aware of things that go on in wrestling, but he's not an actual wrestling fan. He heard about the brawl out stuff and he was like, yeah, it seems like they're running like a shit show over there, to be honest with you. And it's only because my job has worked with them before on certain things. And he was just like, yeah, it seems like a shit show based on everything. I saw clips of the media scrum and I'm like, yeah, I'm not sure what the hell is going on there. Um, so that was kind of very telling of like, I feel like it broke a little bit into the mainstream, of just like, wow,
yeah,
that happened.
exactly. And whereas like Vince was just kind of like, it is what it is. The Cody Rhodes leaving AEW, that to me, I thought was kind of that was the big, I was like, okay, it'll be a little bit less crazy from there. And it just got even crazier. You know what I mean? Like these are to me big moments, but nothing bigger than an actual fucking fight that happened. And I just think it's interesting what people care more about within this community and what they care less about. You know what I mean? And Brawl Out to me, absolutely. I mean, I rated it number one, but Vince McMahon is definitely number two. And we talked about it at length as well in our A list. So check that on YouTube as well. Um, Lastly, so we can get on out of here. Most memorable moment, unanimously, between myself and Meelz. Cody Rhodes returns to WWE. I don't think I got your viewpoint of like what you were feeling watching that. What was your viewpoint of Cody returning to WWE? He returns, comes out, variety article hits, the merch
Hmm.
hits, everything hits like it's a fucking time drop. What were your thoughts on all of it?
I mean, I loved it. So I thought this was a great like showcase of this is how you showcase a top talent. Like this is how you bring someone in and make it a big spectacle. I think the fact that we'd called it so many months in advance, we kind of um, heard some things rumbling backstage, and like it comes to this to me, I was like, wow, these are like moments. Like these are the actual like matches. They're cool. I love matches. I love a good wrestling match. But like moments are the stuff that you live forever. And I think Cody, thank you, Cody. Um, I think Cody returning to the WWE was like a great like this is this is top tier shit, man. This is some good shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really amazing that kind of happened and the talks fizzled. I don't know if you remember the talks fizzling. I don't know if they got reheated or I don't know, but everything ended up happening the way that it was supposed to. And I think the biggest thing that like was sucked about it is that he got injured like 3 months into the run. But I think the next return is going to be even bigger than this one. I think that now his feet are firmly planted on WWE soil and he's ready to rock and roll when he gets back, whenever he gets back in the next couple of weeks. Runner up for me was CM Punk's AFI entrance during his match with MJF, the dog collar match. I'm a mark for his old ROH entrance. For him to remember that and Tony to be such a money mark to pay for that AFI song, fantastic. You know what I mean? Just him coming out with the old gear, the old entrance. He was a little older, a little
Definitely old.
a little skinnier, but it ended up being such a great moment that I feel as though the crowd did not fully understand because let's be clear, man. I feel like a lot of these people are CM Punk fans because of the pipe bomb and not because of anything earlier than that. So it is what it is.
Yeah, more than likely. Yeah, I could see that. Definitely a generation, a gap between all when all that happened and this. But it's like moments like this. I mean, imagine if he had some sort of way to inform people of all this ROH stuff. Imagine um, if he could bring that back to life. Maybe
Yes.
that would work out. Maybe
Right.
I don't know. Hope you subscribe to the Honor Club. Um, the Bloodlines Uzi segment to me. I mean, most things Bloodline. I mean, they've had a great. I wish someone just go on YouTube and put all the segments together. I'll watch it for the 2 hours. Like to me, it tells an amazing story, and that's all we've been talking about this since 2020. If anything Roman Reigns is connected to, it's all telling an amazing story. But I think that Uzi segment, um, just funny, natural comedy, guys working together um and created and whole they sound Uzi shirts now. Like this isn't the Chris Jericho bubbly shit. this is this is an actual thing for the biggest part of the show. So I think most Bloodline segments, but I'm gonna give it to the Uzi segment because I feel like Uzi needs some love.
Feeling Usi. We're feeling Usi. That's fine. I'm cool with that. I actually didn't even think about that moment. I'm gonna lie to you. When I was thinking, I was just like, I like the AFI interest a lot. I mean, we'll see if it lands. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's gonna land in Sammy's Hall of Fame video package, so that'll be cool. But I don't know, man. I gotta wait to see if it's gonna last as long as people say it's gonna last. I don't know. I'm a little skeptical on it, but that was the positive side of the list for this week. Next week, and the last part of our year end, we have cringeworthy moment of the year, most improved, least improved, most tasteless, most tasteless promotional tactic, worst match of the year, worst wrestler of the year, male or female, worst feud of the year, worst pay per view of the year, most confusing booking decision, and most overrated. So if you can imagine how negative we're about to get, we're gonna get way more negative, right, Mills?
I'm looking forward to it. We might just have to go the whole show just be negative. Like this is what the people want ultimately at the end of the day. Like all these superlatives are cool, but people want People want the mess.
They got to get it out their system. We got to get it out of our system for 2023. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So thank you guys for listening. Please have a merry and safe and fun and amazing Christmas. This has been such a joy to like be able to do this show with Meelz this year. We've been through a lot of changes personally, a lot of different things happen, but you know, one thing to stay consistent is you guys have been our fans, and I'm super thankful for you guys for sticking with us through all this, whether you're on Patreon or on public or whatever. Thank you for listening to the show. Any last words, Meelz? I guess not.
Nah. I mean, free Rusev. I don't know what to say.
Okay, cool. Well, until next time, until next week, have a Merry Christmas from myself and Meelz. Thank you, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.